Hello, welcome to another episode of Is This Constitutional?
With your hosts, Molly Robbins
And Evan Podall.
Here we like to break down past Supreme Court rulings to inform you, the people listening, of the important court cases in American history. The year is 1964. The Beatles are becoming popular in the United States. Martin Luther King Jr. receives a Nobel Peace Prize. Lyndon B. Johnson is president. The Vietnam War is going on, and the 18th Summer Olympics are happening in Tokyo. Today, we are going to be focused on what is happening in one of the United States' southern states, Alabama. So, we like to talk about voting and the rights to American citizens. So we find this very fitting to discuss the Supreme Court case of 1964 of Reynolds versus Sims. In Alabama in 1964, there was a vast discrepancy in the size of populations in voting districts. The largest to smallest districts were about 41 to 1.
That's a big difference. I would not want to be part of that 41 area. I don't think that anyone really wanted to, and I feel that I just would not be happy with how my vote did not count as much as other people's.
Right, your voice is almost not heard, is what you're getting at.
Yep.
So we are going to be focused on the court decision. And so up to the court decision, there was new plans put in place for upcoming elections. And none of them really resulted in the majority of the state's populations being able to elect the majority of the legislators in either house. So the big issue that the Supreme Court had to decide on was if Alabama's legislator violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Now, the 14th Amendment states that all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction, therefore, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abide the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property, without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. So now the court had to decide whether the Equal Protection Clause implied that both houses of the legislature must reflect equal numbers of people in voting districts. And take a guess on the court ruling. The court ruled 8-1 that the Equal Protection Clause had been violated.
That seems to make a little bit of sense to me, but I don't know if anyone was too happy about it. Because there's a lot going on with racial issues in that area, and it kind of stems back into slavery and the 3/5 compromise.
Exactly. In the South, in the United States, it has not always been,
People are equal.
People are equal, exactly. And shifting, the voting districts to have 41 to 1, it's basically saying minorities are kind of getting pushed off. So a quote that I found very interesting when looking at this court case was that legislators are elected by voters, not farms or cities or economic interests. And to me, that makes sense. It kind of goes to say that basically one person is one vote, and every citizen is a whole person, not less than a full person.
I like the idea that a vote is a vote, and it doesn't matter who is voting or what they have. Kind of seems like it gives the little guy a shot at having an opinion.
Exactly. I think as long as, you're an American citizen, you're 18, you can think for yourself, you can vote. And I think that no matter what, everybody, their voice should be heard. I mean, it's literally in our Constitution that we have the right to be heard. And
yeah, I think so too. I mean, there's a few stipulations, but generally I think that if you're an American citizen who's of age to think for themselves, you should have the right to vote.
And that's where I'm happy with this court decision that they did have to look at, possibly changing these voting districts, because to me it does not make sense to have 41 to 1. So I think that's about time for us to wrap up.
That wraps up this episode of Is This Constitutional? And this time, it was not constitutional.